Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a massive, frankly terrifying conspiracy that's been unfolding right under the noses of the elite in Baldur's Gate. We're talking about a Red Wizard of Thay operation, a meticulously planned plot packed with stolen identities, ancient infernal artifacts, and this cosmic, world-altering ritual known only as the Lawful Draw. So, let's jump right in and map out exactly how this Than scheme was put together, piece by terrifying piece. Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to systematically break this down, and it functions almost exactly like a heist blueprint. We'll start with the Red Wizard's plot on the ground, zoom out to figure out the mastermind and motive, and then look at the three required ritual components: the quill, the witness, and the divided contract. Finally, we'll wrap up with the looming Than threat as it stands right now. Section 1. The Red Wizard's plot. Chaos at the Patriarch Ball. This whole thing really hits its boiling point at the Silver Shield Estates, where a woman who was supposed to be dead in the sewers was suddenly seen mingling and sipping wine with the city's highest society. Turns out that dead woman walking was a total imposter. She eventually revealed her real identity, Mallyra Sondru, a seriously ambitious Red Wizard of Thay. But this brings us to the big central question, doesn't it? What was Mallyra really after in Baldur's Gate? I mean, she obviously didn't infiltrate a high society gala just for the free appetizers. To get what she was really after, we have to look at just how utterly ruthless her methods were. She murdered at least 9 people across the city. This included the real noblewoman, Alia Durenbold, and her husband. And why? Literally just to steal Alia's identity. Because with that identity, Maelmyra could manipulate Duke Rakoth Glitterbeard into giving her a private tour of the highly secure counting house vaults. And when she was finally exposed at the Patriarch Ball, she didn't surrender. No, she unleashed a massive, lethal fireball right into the crowd, killed 2 patriarchs, and retreated to the roof, where she had a backup squad of animated corpses waiting, including a revenant assassin named Zulvek Than. She was an incredibly competent threat, and she executed all of this right under everyone's noses. Section 2, Mastermind and Motive, the Shadow of Szass Tam. So after that brutal rooftop battle, Mallyra was finally captured, and during her interrogation, the spotlight quickly shifted from the captured agent to the true architect of the conspiracy. Under the influence of a subtle magical compulsion spell, Maeltra started speaking with some uncomfortable honesty. She confessed she definitely hadn't gone rogue. No, she was sent directly by Szass Tam himself, the Lich Lord and Regent of Thay. And just like that, the stakes explode. We go from a local murder mystery to a cosmic-level threat orchestrated by one of the absolute most powerful undead beings in the realms. His goal? To break a binding infernal obligation. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the specific mechanism Szass Tam intends to use. It's an intense ritual called the Lawful Draw. You have to realize everything Malmithra did, the murders, the vault infiltration, the fake identity, that was all just prep work. It was literally just gathering ingredients for this one, single, massive ritual of world-shaping proportions. So what exactly does a Lich Lord need to pull off the Lawful Draw? Well, here's our checklist of doom. He needs 3 very specific, very rare components: the Infernal Quill, a witness, and a divided contract. Section 3, Component 1, the Quill, the Calamus Pectum. This is exactly what Maelmyra was hunting for when she conned her way into those counting house vaults. The lore on this artifact is just absolutely terrifying. The Calamus Pactum isn't just a fancy magic pen. We are talking about an item forged by Asmodeus, the Lord of the Nine Hells himself, carved directly from the wing of a fallen celestial. This is the exact quill used to sign the original pact with the Toril 13. You know, the agreement that permanently bounds the bloodlines of all tieflings? Yeah, that is the sheer scale of the artifact we're dealing with here. And just to give you an idea of how insanely dangerous it is to even be in the same room as this thing, listen to this quote from Helsik, who runs a demonic curiosity shop. "Do not touch the pointy end with any fleshy bits." I mean, it's a bit of dark humor, sure, but it is a very literal warning about handling something that practically radiates raw infernal power. And this brilliantly illustrates its immense infernal weight. When the quill was taken to the Nine Hells to be authenticated by an antiquarian named Vol the Assessor, she placed it on a golden scale. On the other side, she piled up these massive iron soul coins. coins that literally contain bound mortal souls. But the scale didn't even budge. It wasn't until she placed a blackened, oozing anatomical infernal heart onto the scale that it finally balanced perfectly. That is wild. So let's quickly break down the mechanics of this quill. It's completely self-sustaining, so it produces its own ink and never runs dry. The writing has permanence, meaning it can't be magically erased. It has a Gia's binding, which forces the signers to keep their word or suffer intense psychic torment. And it has a truth compulsion for anyone touching a question written with it. You can see exactly why Szass Tam needs this. If you're a lech trying to wriggle out of a cosmic contract, standard devilish loopholes won't cut it. You need an instrument with ironclad properties that overwrites the rules. Section 4, Component 2, The Witness, Lysandra Mortine. Now this completely connects the Thayan plot to another bizarre event that happened recently, a graveyard resurrection. See, they brought back a woman named Lysandra Mortine who had been dead for centuries. Why? Because in life, she was the chosen of Jurgal, the former god of the dead. She used to serve as this ultimate, divinely sanctioned neutral notary for massive infernal contracts, even settling disputes between devils over parts of the hells. The Thayans weren't just grave robbing for fun. They needed a very specific, divinely sanctioned neutral party. So the crucial point is, why go to the trouble of bringing her back? Because general trustworthiness is totally insufficient for Szass Tam's needs. He specifically requires her divine standing. As the chosen of Jurgal, she has an authority that devils simply cannot question. If Lysandra witnesses the lawful draw, the hells are legally bound to recognize it. Section 5, Component 3, Divided Contract, Ties to Tyranny. This brings us to the third, and honestly, the most mysterious piece of this whole puzzle. The details on this divided contract are incredibly scarce right now. But what we do know is that it's a fragmented, infernal agreement tied directly to Bane, the god of tyranny. Which makes total sense, right? Bane is the state religion of Thay, perfectly aligning with the loyalties of the Red Wizards. Plus, it ties right back to Jurgal, who originally surrendered his portfolio to the Dead Three, which included Bane. Which brings us to Section 6, the looming Thayan threat. The board is set. Let's look at where things stand right now in the aftermath of Mylar's interrogation in the Watchtower. Thankfully, the heroes acted fast. Myalra is currently sitting in a Watchtower cell. She's been stripped of her magic and locked down in anti-magic shackles. So they've managed to temporarily halt this whole Baldur's Gate operation, and they extracted the actual blueprint for the lawful draw right out of her. But Myalra didn't exactly beg for mercy. She left them with this chilling final warning. Things do not end well for those who stand in Szass Tam's way. And right after that dire promise, one of the party members, Shane, did something really fascinating. He just quietly left a single arrow on the floor of her cell before walking out, basically offering her a way out on her own terms. And she just met the gesture with a bittersweet smile. Let's move to and see how this builds our current state of play. The heroes are literally holding all the cards right now. The Calamus Pactum is locked tight in Counting House Vault 04512. Lysandra Mortine is allied with the party and staying at Yomane House. Myalra's mission? Total, complete failure. But here's the kicker. Szass Tam is now entirely aware of their interference. While the heroes have secured the pieces, they have placed themselves directly in the crosshairs of a Lich Lord. Which leaves us with a really provocative question to think about. Now that the vital components for the lawful draw are safely in the party's hands, how long until Szass Tam's next, much deadlier agents arrive in Baldur's Gate? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I hope it helped bring some structure to all this chaos, and I absolutely cannot wait to see how this Thayan retaliation unfolds.